Hello everyone. Yeah, I was muted for a few seconds and I realized very fast, so that was a really great start for a streaming tutorial. So never forget to unmute yourself, that's the main thing. So today I'm going to show you the equipment of streaming and also OBS and how to use it and get along with it as best as possible. So first of all, I'm going to start with the equipment. I'm going to start with the most of the equipment are plug and play, but one of them is kind of a bit tricky, so we're going to start with it. It's the DSLR camera that we got just yesterday, and it's not as easy as plug and play. So if technically plug and play, you need a micro USB cable. But first of all, you gotta turn it on and put it on. I don't know if this is good, but put it on movie mode. And in the movie mode, I can't show you this like on the camera, it's like on the stream itself, because this does not go on the stream. And then you want to change the quality to the specific quality, so it shows like the good resolution, and doesn't matter how much FPS it transfer, because it's not gonna get all of it through the USB, because apparently according to Canon it cannot stream in 4K because of the USB capability. So but it works pretty well, so after that it's just plug and play, and it connects to the PC. But how does it connect to the PC? By using the Canon webcam utilities, which you need to download before. So it's basically just googling webcam utility from Canon or whatever camera you're having, and it's then installing, and it's plug and play. So now I'm gonna like transfer us to the Canon webcam right now, which is this one. Now we're seeing the view of the Canon web camera, so I can show you the rest of the streaming equipments. And what we have here is the other camera that was showing just a few seconds ago. This is the webcam, the Logitech webcam, and it's basically plug and play, and then you add it into OBS, which I'm going to show you later, obviously. And the other thing is the microphone that I'm using right now, and it's a Rode microphone. It's also plug and play, and you can also overhear what you're saying by pressing the button on the webcam, and then this turns off if you're not listening to yourself, and it turns back on if you're listening to what you're saying in the microphone. Sometimes it's good if you're streaming to hear what you're actually saying, so you can make sure that there's a voice going over, and that's just connecting your earphones to the camera itself. And one of the most important thing in streaming is a lighting, so I'm just gonna turn off the light first, and it's just kind of becomes more darker. No, I didn't turn it off, but yeah. So it just, like, you can see the scene right now is really dark because our ring light, that's this is really hard. This is our ring light, and it should be turned on, because then the video image is not just as good for the webcams, and you always need lighting while filming. So I'm gonna turn it back on. And it's also plug and play using a USB power supply, and just turns on, changes the color, brightness. It's very easy to use, and it has a tripod, so that's also really nice. One of the other things that the webcam has is this attachment to it, which is basically just makes it a lot easier to put it on the screen, like the webcam. So it will basically look like this near another screen. So I think that's about it for the equipment that we have at the moment. So any questions about this, or are we good in that? Right, I think I'm gonna go to like a one screen view of OBS, so it will show everything. So here we have our standard OBS. If you type the command chat OBS in the chat, you get a link to where to download it. What, stream captions? Okay, I've actually uploaded on the MakerLab drive the scene collection that I'm currently actually using, and it can be found on the OneDrive. It's pretty standard to just download it, and I'm going to show you now how to use it right here. So you go to your scene collection, and I already have it, but I'm going to show it again. So you import a file, you look for it. It's really important to put it on C, so because everything then is connected to it, like the browsers, all of the imaging is on C, and it's just lots easier. But I'm gonna also show you how to add your own stuff in case there's somewhere else. And you just choose it, you add it, and then you import it. And then you go back to the scene collection, and now it's like MakerLab 1 because I've already chosen one, and all the files are here that I'm using for everything. As you can see, some of the cameras are not showing because I didn't change them here, or there are like some other addresses to it, but this is basically all the scenes that we have. One of the main thing that you can use and really actually helps using is studio mode in OBS. It just makes you see two things. So when you're changing between screens, you can first preview it and then stream it, so you won't make mistakes. If you make mistakes, you change them before. And so that's basically one of the most basic things and really helpful feature. But I'm gonna turn it off now so we can have a full view of the screen. So sometimes you don't get them as nice when you like download the file on OBS. You don't really get them really that nicely shown on your OBS, and you have to do some changes. Like for example, I'm just gonna make a new scene. I'm gonna keep it called scene 2, and I want to add one of the I'm gonna add like a new background. And I'm gonna choose a local file because everything is locally, or it can be also a website or anything. But all of the overlays for the streams and the back screens and I were made by HTML code. So I'm gonna add like the clean background on my OBS, and I just open it. I coded all of the backgrounds and everything at the ratio of 1600 to 900, and this is what you should put as width and heights because it's the one that complies with all the overlays and the backgrounds. But still, it's not the same resolution that my PC will stream in, so I have to put it into full screen. That's by right click and go into transfer and fit the screen. And you can see here it's also done with Control F. You can always press Control F and then you have it. And there you have it. The whole screen is now new, and that's how you can start adding stuff and start adding new scenes and new equipment. I'm gonna go through one after the other how you start streaming. So usually when I start streaming, before I even start doing anything, I make the starting soon screen to show like a bit of a preview, but you can add also other previews. We can add like some kind of a slideshow photos from Instagram and everything else. There are so many possibilities how you want to start your stream, and it's dependent on what you're doing in the day. So it's nice, like if you're showing 3D stuff, to just put some nice 3D photos and stuff from the projects that are gonna happen. And that's where like I usually also use studio mode, because then I go to my next screen and I want to make it happen, and I just go to transition and transits into the stream, and that's just like better overview of where you're gonna stream next. And let's just turn it back off. I made like the multi-camera, and I have like, here it's the title. You can, this is just a photo that anyone can add. You can change it here, or you can change it in the file where I uploaded things. There was a file that was called stream slideshow, which you can also use in like just change, because here it's just a slideshow, and if I play it, it goes to slide 2 and then slide 3. So you can have multiple slides and multiple photos or titles of what you're talking about currently, and just change them throughout the stream. This is the overlay of the frame for like a whole screen frame, and here's just showing the display. But if you want to have not a display here, and you want to change it into the DSLR camera and show something on your desk, all you have to do is add a new video capture device, and you go here, and it's certainly not on this one, so I'm just gonna add a Canon, press OK, and then I get it here, and I have to choose between the cameras. And as I said, the Canon has this webcam utility. When I downloaded it and it installed on the PC, I didn't have to do anything anymore. All I had to do is plug in the camera and just add the utility, and it's plugged in, so it should be shown. It sometimes takes time, or it doesn't want to be shown because it's on my other OBS already on. Let me just, doesn't really like to be in two places, so I removed it from the stream. And sometimes it's just you need to be removed and added in again if it's not working. You will always run into trouble while trying to add anything. That's why it's really important to prepare the stream beforehand and not leave it at the last second in the stream to change stuff like I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm gonna hide the display capture. It's still not showing, I don't know why. Just realized it doesn't show my whole screen, the stream, and wait a sec. So apparently it doesn't want to work right now, which has worked before, so I don't understand exactly what's going on right now. But it just doesn't want to comply with me. I think it's one of the main reasons because I have too many cameras plugged in right now and two OBS open. So that's kind of not what OBS wants to be run on, being open twice and running both of them in the background. I'm just gonna show it in the other OBS, and yeah, if I add it here, it has some trouble sometimes, but it's just sometimes just not used somewhere else, so the camera doesn't like to be used. So yeah, this is currently the stream itself, so I'm not gonna change much in it, but yeah. That's how you add it, and yeah, just don't have two OBS running at the same time, so you won't run into the trouble that I just ran into. So we have to see then like the how the things are put together. This is like like they are above each other, so the background should be always in the back, and because if I put it in the front, it's just gonna cover everything, and I just move it around with my mouse, and that's it. There's also like this text which is showing my name right now here, and this can be anything, and if you want to like keep it, it's here. If you want to hide it and not show it right now and show the camera, which is not really participating in this moment, it just can be just switch between the two, which makes it a lot easier to have everything open here and just hide the stuff and open them again. And it's really nice also to have the alerts and chat on the screen, so if anyone is watching in full screen, they can still see the chat and interact with it if they want to get off full screen and interact with chat. And that's very important. Chat is very important. Always look at your chat when you're streaming. It's really nice to interact with people when they send a message and not answer them way after. And I know it's hard. I always have trouble with it myself, but it's just a learning curve that we all learn at one point, and we do our best to do anything after that, and then you get it. It's like not just have to stream once in a while. And then there's the layout of one camera if you want to show a full screen, like I'm basically showing right now on stream. And now it's like too many OBS screening each other, which is, yeah, goes into loop, so it's kind of nice. And I have this screen which is like a Q&A screen. I'll use it at the end of the stream to take on questions that you might have. And obviously you always need a break screen if anything, or technical difficulties, to just stop and mute everything and just work on your stream and fix it. You can just by taking a break, and people will take care of the chat should be like a nice and help each other and just chat over there while the streamer is working on the problems that are currently happening. Yeah. And this is basically the last screen you should put before you leave. Just say goodbye. Always say goodbye to your chat and to everyone, and don't forget to let them know that there's a Discord meeting in the MakerMeetwoch goes into Discord, so everyone should go there as well. That's very important. Now I'm gonna turn on to the other side of OBS, and what we have is sound and your mic and your audio. Like your desktop audio, if you're not showing a program that has sound in it, you just mute your desktop audio. If your mic you think it's too loud, or your chat's telling you your voice is so loud, or you're too quiet, try to position the microphone as best as possible near you, and you can always play with the sound by getting the sound a bit lower. And this is helps because it's around decibel, so if you remove 6 decibel from the sound, you're basically cutting it in half, which just helps to know if you ever want to make it quieter or anything. And then we have the settings. If you open the settings, it looks at the beginning a lot, and you don't know what you want to do with it. Like, this is general, stream, output, audio, video, hotkey, and advanced. And all you need to know are the basic things, which is the stream. When you're streaming Twitch, you need a stream key, which I'm not going to show right now, obviously, for very obvious reasons. But you need to put that in, and then you can start streaming. And then you have to look at the output, what you are uploading into Twitch or any other platform. And basically what I would recommend is it runs with every PC, and any like high-end PCs you can put it higher, but Twitch limits us anyway, so 2500 is enough video bit rates to deliver. And then the encoder, it's not very good to use the software encoder because it's using the CPU. You'd always could use the hardware encoder, which is in your graphic card, if there's any. If it's not, then the software ones work perfectly fine. You can also record your session while you're also streaming, which is kind of nice if you want to record it. I don't usually do it because you can also just download your video from Twitch right after you stream, which is a great feature by Twitch. That's makes everything much easier. But here you can also use the use the coding of what's your, like, is it gonna be MP4 or not. This is gonna help you. Just really good option. And then when you're at audio, just leave it at 48 kilohertz. That's a good rate. And you can disable, if you have multiple microphones, you can disable some or enable them. And also you would have multiple audio inputs as well. You could if you want to. And the video output is also, it's always this ratio. It's not going to change. But my base canvas is basically what my screen's giving me, and this is the output. I'm not gonna put it in a higher resolution just because I'm gonna have like lots of frame loss in the stream itself, and it's gonna lag. So it's really easier just to stay on this one, and because it's just giving too much data to uploading too much data, and that's gonna get lag. And my PC, it's not the best PC in the world, so I don't want to open all of the OBS that I have and just let it run too much. So I chose this one. I also recommend it, but if you have a high-end PC, just go crazy. And 60 hertz or 60 FPS are enough because knowing there's like, if you stream at a higher FPS, only the people who has a higher FPS rate for screen can actually watch it in that rate, so it's not really that helpful, and just 60 FPS is kind of the okay. And then the hotkeys. This is something that I don't use right now, but it's also really good to use. So here you can add just multiple keys to start the stream, stop it, and change. This is also gonna break, like, if you wanna just, if you're showing something and you have your keyboard in front of you and you wanna switch between scenes very fast without looking and using the mouse, you can add, before you start the scene, just add these from the keyboard. Like, you can add any key to change into any scene you're having. And I recommend using it if you're not using your keyboard, because if you're also using your keyboard, you might just hit the key by mistake and just change scenes in between, and you get confused, and then you have to go on a break, and everyone's happy after that because it's gonna be fine. No one will get mad anyway if someone. We're not all professional streamers, so everything's fine. We just want to show people and teach them some stuff we know, so everyone will be understanding. But it's also a nice feature to use, and the advanced, no one needs them actually. Like, I never changed anything. The only things I've worked with are the video output and the video and the output and the audio output. It's because the standard things that when I downloaded OBS weren't working for me good enough on my PC, so I had to change them. And it's always like a learning curve. You just have to try and see what your PC can handle and what it can, and you will realize if the stream is lagging a lot. Your chat's gonna be helpful and tell you that it's lagging, and maybe you should work on that first and then continue streaming. So yeah, that's all to it. I hope I did not forget something. Is there anything you guys would like to learn about OBS more? Like, I can show you how to add everything again, and if not, if there's nothing, you can also ask me anything about the equipment and how to use them and anything. Okay, I will wait for the question. And yes, I think this stream or also the video when it's uploaded is gonna help a lot with anyone who's using OBS to. What's a streaming card? Like, what do you mean with streaming card? Because I don't have any card that I'm streaming with right now. Oh, so you mean like a capture device? Actually, no, because yeah, Canon was nice enough to make their own utilities. That's why it makes it way easier to use their just USB. So all you have to do is put the USB in the camera, and it just works as a webcam. So you don't need a capture device. It's just very common that a capture device is much better than this option that Canon has, because it's basically just transform the HDMI output from from the camera, or if you're streaming with another PC, you will also need a capture device. But in this case, we don't need that because the camera has a software which is much nicer, much easier to use. They start using a DSLR camera as a webcam. It makes the using of it much easier. But a capture device is always also a good option to have for older cameras that are not supported by these softwares. But not necessarily, like, we don't have that old cameras, so we're good. But no, at this moment we don't need a capture device. If we have more than another cameras that are not supported with this, then we might. But at the moment, no. Is it like a question because you have another camera, or is it just a general question about the equipment we have from MakerLab? Yeah, so in generally, if you just buying a new camera, maybe you can look first of all at like what's offering, if they, because I know that Canon, Nikon, Sony, and Panasonic all have now a webcam utility, so that's nice. And if not, if it's an older camera, very important with older cameras, not all of them have a clear HDMI. So if you're using an older camera that does not have a clear HDMI, the output, so you will have the whole time on your screen the autofocus, like the small square thing that's always autofocuses on the face. So it's always with choosing a camera as a DSLR camera that is not a webcam as a webcam. There are so many things that you have to look at, the clear HDMI, but now since we have this option of using webcam utilities from Canon and other companies, it's much easier now to choose a newer camera that supports this feature, which means you also save money. About like a good capture device is 100 euros, so basically that's a lot of saving money with buying the camera and the capture device. It just makes it much easier, but it's also a good option. And it's definitely, if someone is streaming in 4K, it's definitely go with the video capture device and not with the USB option. Any more questions? That's good. Yeah, no problem. If you ever want more question about camera, just, you know where to find me on Discord from MakerLab. So that's where we'll be after this as well. So if there are no more questions, I'm gonna be ending the stream. Yeah. And just gonna thank you all for sticking up with me and watching my tutorial. I would not put it at the highest tutorials, but I've learned everything. I've just told you everything I know, so I hope that helped. And if there would be necessary in the future to have more of these tutorials, I'll be happy to do them as well, no problem. So if there's no more questions, I want to thank everyone for being here, and don't forget Discord, and the tutorial is going to be on YouTube, so that's also something to look forward to when you're streaming again. Just look at the video again and maybe it will help. If not, I'll be there to help as well, so that's not gonna be a problem. Yeah, thank you for being here, and see you in Discord in a bit.